Alright, Permaculture Healing. My name's Jeremy. Welcome to another vlog. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite principles in the permaculture world. And that is, the problem is the solution. Let's get into it. So what you see here is a series of essentially log check dams that I made to handle the top water runoff off the slope here. Now there are two slopes on the property. One runs parallel and then one runs directly onto the property. This is the one that runs directly onto the property. Doing a little bit of solo camera work. If you look down past the woods, you see the street below. The driveway runs down that way. It's fairly steep, so the water would run there, and then the water would also run down over this way by the house, down the pathway. So what we did is we built these check dams, and you can see there's some stakes here. We charred the bottoms. We didn't seal them per se, like we did with the fence posts and the trellis area, but we made these check dams. This is the largest one, so let's go up to the top here. A little rub. Got some deer action out here. Always a plus. Persimmon trees are still intact in their little cages, so that's good. Ooh, slipping away. Alright, so this is the top. It levels off and flattens up there a little bit. But this is as far as like trees and rocks and stuff. This is the highest I could actually put this. So this is the first one. And then below that are two others. So any water that doesn't catch and sink and spread in this first one will make their way, hopefully be caught, or some of it caught by the ones on the bottom there. And then there's one on the very far end here. That's the biggest one. So that spans the biggest section. And what we did is we filled these with materials off the property. Deadwood, we ran them perpendicular on the bottom, logs, and then covered with tree leaves, whatever materials we had. Put a bunch of branches going horizontal to the front, and then this one and this one we had covered with fresh horse manure. This one here and the big one on the bottom here, we covered with a ton of leaf bags and leaf litter. And that material did not last. The worm population that we have out here, well, it's invaded the area. It's all over the place down the road. I see signs of it, but so it crushed the leaf litter that actually fell. It's going to be more pertinent that we use, the fresh horse manure as we did with this first check dam than using leaf litter, spoiled hay, or anything like that, because the worms just go right through it. So we make our way down, and then you could see this was full. This was full, and you got the leaves from the fall here, but underneath that, you could see all the branches poking through. This would fill to the top of that top log, or logs rather. So this in theory will catch, sink, and spread any of the water that's coming off this particular slope that was problematic for the property down below. And below this, we have a couple of other safety nets here. Pardon the debris. I put in over here, running across this easement. I actually dug a French drain and filled that with stone, so that any water that catches or doesn't catch in the system here will hopefully end up in there. If any water gets around those check dams, what we've started to do, and it started as making just berms on contour on the edge of the property with dead wood from off the property. We've since started to turn these into hugel mounds, and these as well. We had horse manure, we had spoiled hay, and I mean, these things were a good 3 foot high. And within one season, those worms decimated that population of, not the population, but decimated the material we had put down. And what you're seeing here is, shout out to Whale Rock Farms, are all of the eggplant and pepper plants from my buddy Dave's market garden that he was going to end up toss. Like they were full as far as their organic material they needed for their composting and stuff. So this stuff was just going to go into a dumpster. I said, absolutely not. I went, made a couple of trips, and then added that to this particular area. Now on top of this, I'll put some fresh horse manure. On top of that, I'll put spoiled hay. I'll put another layer of horse manure. And then I will be picking up some 50-50 mix, because it seems that that particular compost, the worms don't necessarily touch. They don't bother it. So that'll at least keep the hugel mound intact for longer than half a season. And this, like I said, Quackenbush says good morning. This goes all the way along. I have a couple of stops. So I had to stop here. So this is one of our entrances to the woods here. And then you see it continues down this way. So this is going to be a work in progress. We'll be hitting this hard in the spring. So, that'll be another video. And then it stops right over there. And if I really wanted to, I can continue it further down. And that's the solution to the problem of having excess water. And so far, it's panned out because we've had minimal damage or erosion on the parts of the property that were eroding prior. Now, bonus feature, not only are these check dams, we get dappled sunlight. So during the hot summer months, we're going to be able to have a lot of our herbs out here. We're going to be able to grow a lot of our greens. See what happens as far as the animal pressure, deer pressure, but these became planting beds as well. So on top of taking care of that water situation, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 large planting beds. That's it in a nutshell. So the problem is the solution is key in this particular site, in this particular design that we've put into place here. And we'll update in the spring once we fill those beds, once we start planting in them, and you'll also get to see the hugel mounds start to take shape as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click the subscribe. You can check me out on Facebook. I'm also on Insta. So if you're in any of those, feel free, check it out. Until next time, have a great day.